Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today it's another Talk About It Tuesday, if I remember right. This is our first Talk About It Tuesday for the month of June. And it's appropriate that we talk about seasons. Seasons bring change, and we are definitely in a season of change here in the MKS shop. Stick around and we'll talk about it. I'm Mike.
This is My Cars Shop.
Becky and I were talking the other day about how I just seem to be floundering right now, specifically when it comes to stuff in the shop. And, well, part of that is because the weather has just been so psychotic. We've been 85 degrees one day and snow the next, and then pouring rain. And, oh my word, we have had rain up the wazoo. That sounds painful. We have had so much rain, and, we're just... It's a tough spot to be in, so I've gone to do paint work on that $500 paint shop truck several times, and the weather hasn't been cooperating, and then other life things have been happening, and then I've just been struggling with motivation and just feeling lost, and I don't know, can you relate? As we were talking about it, she said, Mike, you go through this every year, and I realized she's right, especially in the last 4 years of doing the channel. This is our 4th season. Can you believe we're halfway through our 4th season already? Wow! Anywho, I do go through this every year, and this year I've been a little bit more intentional about not so much, well, how do I put it? I've been a little bit more intentional about being conscious. Because normally I'm unconscious. I don't know. Now I'm being more intentional about thinking things through and realizing that wintertime is the time of year I absolutely love to fabricate. Don't worry, I have my other hand on the steering wheel. I know. Being Italian, you like to talk with your hands. I'm just really being more conscientious and conscious of I love to fabricate in the winter when it's cold and I have the heater going in the shop, and there's just something about that environment that just lights my fire. But when it gets this time of year, there's other things that draw my attention. For one thing, we have all kinds of outdoor projects that we're doing around the homestead, and you can check out our Place Homestead channel if you want to see anything about what's going on over there. There's a lot more coming there. Plus, we have to do things like mow the lawn, and but then I realized also that, there's things that I like to do in the summer, like drive some of these cars. Now, there's not a lot of them that are on the road, and Scoops is on the road, and that's licensed, and the Pro Street GTS is road legal, even though I don't have the road coverage on it yet. It is, it's usable is what I'm trying to say. But out of all the cars we have, those are the only two of the Oakland, although that one's tore apart right now. But that one's on the road also. But there are several other cars that aren't far away, and I was mentioning that to Becky. We were talking about the 47 the other day, and she said, why aren't you, what needs to be done to get that car done? I said, you need to help me with the wiring, and, well, the other thing is just finish up the paint work, and it wouldn't take a huge amount to get that car on the road. And she said, all right, my plan is working. But she wants to see me get some of these cars completed so that we can be enjoying them. And I realize this is the time of year to do that. I'm going to be doing a bunch of work to the 69 Charger as well to get it closer to being on the road so that when my son Joe comes home, he can be enjoying that car as well. But I was also thinking about other things that people enjoy, like car shows and drag racing. And, when you live in the northern climates, there's only a small window of time for that stuff to be done. Now, I don't really enjoy car shows that much anymore. I used to. I don't. I used to go to car shows all the time, but the last few years when I've gone to go out and get in a car to go to the show, I find myself just walking into the shop to work on something instead. I'd much rather spend my time doing that. And it's kind of the same thing with drag racing. It's fun. I enjoy it. I love a good drag race, and I love burning down the quarter mile. But when it comes to the time and the expense, I just as soon go do a couple burnouts up and down the road in front of my house, or go to my private drag strip that you guys have seen me run on before, and just spend some time there enjoying that rather than going through the formality of going to the strip. In other words, I've been there. I've done that. I'm pushing 60 years old now, and it's not that I still wouldn't enjoy it, but I just like simple, and that's complicated for me at this season and expensive. On a day like today, I would love to be driving my 47 Ford, even though it's nowhere near completion, but I always start driving them long before they're completed because that just gives me that much more time to enjoy them, and it also gives me motivation to get things done as I'm experiencing issues in the car. And of course I could be driving Scoops, except it's got a flat hoof right now and I need to get that taken care of. We're really close to having Becky's truck back on the road, and so that's exciting. You've seen episodes on that by now, I'm sure. So, again, I would encourage you to think about the hobby and think about what are the seasons. Are there even seasons that you're not going to be working on things? Now, I'm pretty committed to working on things year-round, as you know, because of doing the sheer volume of episodes that I do here on the channel. I have to keep after it and stick to my production schedule, and it would be nice to be able to do reruns sometimes, but I really don't mind, because even when I'm in the dumps of like depression and just don't feel like doing anything and I'm unmotivated, you guys keep my toes to the fire to get out there in the shop and do something to take another bite out of crime, or no, another bite out of a project. For me, I think it's just the 2 seasons. There's the 7-8 months of winter work, and then the 4 or 5 months of really tough sledding, the summer. But maybe there are more seasons in your world. Drop it down there in the comments. Let's have a discussion about that, and let's see what's the ebb and flow of the way that you do stuff. Well, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subbed to the channel, please do ring that bell so you receive those notifications. And one more thing, and it's super important, and if you've been around the MKS shop for any length of time, you'll know what it is.
Don't forget to rock